What's going on? It is your boy, High Noon Crypto, here with another thought provoking, you know, YouTube video about the important things. Um, I'll be honest with y'all, it has been great being back talking my shit. 'Cause I have a lot of shit to talk because, like I tell a lot of people that I meet, I'm probably the smartest person they know. And that's not like on some braggadocious type stuff. That's just the truth. Like Gucci Mane once said, it's not a diss record, it's the truth, right? And people can appreciate how smart you are only when it benefits them, but they can't really appreciate it when it's the reverse side, when you're trying to tell them what they need to be aware of, participating in, or what they need to be doing, right? It's just how it goes, right? They don't see the vision until it's right in front of them, right? They can't see it from a distance and prepare for it. They can only see it when it's right before them or when it's passed them by, right? Very reactive instead of proactive. A lot of people are nowadays, and that's where we're at, kind of with this crypto shit, specifically post chain, specifically the Richard Heart ecosystem. You're seeing a lot of people who thought they saw the vision, uh, and they couldn't handle what the vision takes to play out. Right now, in my opinion, everything's on course to do what it's always done until it doesn't do what it's always done. You feel me? Then that's really that actually on the scale of things that worry me, that would be like a five, right? If things didn't do what they've always done, right? That would be a little concerning because it's like, okay, now we're entering new territory, right? And the reason why it's only a five is a half measure is because things doing what they've always done, right, gives you an expectation of what's to come. But something doing something different doesn't necessarily mean that's something bad, right? People they always put out these fractals and stuff like, oh well, it should do this time. But what if it does like five times better, right? Nobody's gonna be like, oh, this time it was different, but it was bad. No, they're gonna be like, oh hell yeah, I love when things are different. So I've been, of course, if you're in the crypto Twitter streets, if you're in the RH ecosystem, you will have seen all the shenanigans, right? There's a lot of shenanigans, but the a lot of the shenanigans, in my opinion, boils down to really a handful of things, right? One, it boils down to people um, not having go get a job, right? That's really what I can say. Go get a job. Did a lot of people expect this to have retired their bloodline, win Lambo, win Moon? Of course, but it hasn't happened. But that doesn't mean that this is if you were on Twitter, you would think that literally every single other coin has pumped hard as fuck except Post Chain, and we have been left in the dust, and it's a dead chain, right? I seen this fucking loser who's who moved to Solana, took his project to Solana, saying, "How do we break the curse of Post Chain?" People like you is why the chain is cursed. You were essentially a grifter. There's a lot of grifters that have extracted value and then come back and complain why maybe Pulse Chain hasn't pumped as hard as it should, right? But let me not get too far off track with people that don't matter at all, right? There's two things that I've deduced that makes me realize where we're at, like my benchmarks for this, right? None of them have to do with any law enforcement thing. None of them is SEC related. None of them are fucking the Interpol shit. It's all what does the environment look like, right? So keep this, right? I just before I even booted this up because I do very little research because I just think that it's research is cool, but it's more so how you um, examine and digest the information, right? If you're just doing a bunch of reading, but you don't know how to interpret it, to comprehend it, then it really doesn't do nothing, right? So the first thing I went and looked at was, of course, Ethereum. Now, historically, Bitcoin does this dance first, Ethereum does this dance second, right? And then that's when everything else starts dancing. So we're still waiting on the proverbial ETH dance, right? ETH is at $3,600 and some change at the time of this recording. Still hasn't broken its all-time high yet. Let's make that abundantly clear. It still has not broken its all-time high. But why is that important? Well, in the grand scheme of things, if you bought the top of ETH, you would still be down after what, 3.5 years, something like that. Same thing with Pulse Chain. If you sacrifice for Pulse Chain and you did nothing else the whole time, right, you would be down on your investment. Now, would you be down as much as ETH is as of today? No, you wouldn't. But to me, down is down relative because the object or the objective is Moon, is Lambo, is Monaco, right? That's the objective. So does it matter if you're down 50% or if you're down 30%, right? Not really in crypto because a crypto can run 50% a day and a crypto can run 30% a day. So you're just really a Hail Mary away from, it's not even really a Hail Mary. You're really like a slant route if you play football. Just a quick 5 yard slant route, taking it back to the house, getting back to even, right? But I hated all the if you bought on this day, you would be. I hate that shit, right? So I go next level deeper into this. What if you DCA'd in during the lows, right? Now, I think that's more accurate. I think that you have a better chance if you didn't just give up on this shit of DCAing during the lows. And let's base our where we're at from there. Now, these are all not hard numbers. This was a quick go look at a fucking chart. Actually, I was lazy. I went and looked at the chart on CoinGecko, which is not even a good chart. But I put it on max and I looked at what was the low range of Ethereum before it kind of sort of broke out up until the point where they claimed Richard bought the top with the sacrifice funds, right? So realistically, after the top of Ethereum and it went down and we entered the bear market in what, 2021? I think it was July of 21 to maybe December of 22, or maybe it was July of 22 to December of 23. But anyway, it was roughly about an 18-month range. I do think it is July of 21 to December 22. ETH traded realistically between $1,000, it got as low as $800 if I'm not mistaken, to 1,500, and roughly in that range, a high of like a couple times it touched like $1,700-$1,800. So let's just call that $1,000 to $1,500 to make math really simple, right? So if you would have just DCA'd in over an 18-month time period, you would have got anywhere. You could have potentially bought as low as $800, as high as $1,700, right? $1,800. Well, if you did any buying during that time, which has always been the best way to get rich in crypto, right? Historically speaking, if you just bought during the bear market, you tend to have done pretty well. You would actually be up anywhere between 4x your money, 400%, to at worst case, like what, 150%. So anywhere between a one to like, really it's like a 1.2x to a 4x your money if you just happen to buy during it. But let's split the diff. Let's just say you get the mean of that and you're up 2x, you're up 200%. Let's just give it another 0.5. So you're up 2.5x if you just bought. And ETH hasn't even started doing its dance yet. That's not a bad investment. I think I seen the chart somewhere that said that since 2019, Tesla's up 5x or something like that. So you're talking about if you bought during crypto's extreme down period, you're doing half as well as Tesla, right? But I do think that once we start dancing, you will outperform Tesla tremendously, even in Ethereum. So there's that. Well, let's analyze the Great Post Chain, the Great Post X. Well, let's analyze specifically Post X because that was the larger of the sacrifices. More people knew about it then, more money was spent, and it did dip the hardest. So, yes, Post Chain went from sacrifice price all the way down 90+%. A lows of 5 zeros and 9. Let's just call it 5 zeros and 9. Today it's sitting at 4 zeros and a 3. But between So you have July 31st, which was the SEC tweet. So let's just say August 1st to shit. I think it was like October. So you talking about hell? We can even. Well, I don't want to go to today, but August 1st of 23 to maybe it was August of 24. It's a shorter time period. Um, you could have the range of pulse X was really between the 5 zeros and a 9 to 4 zeros and a 2, right? So you're catching a range of that over a similar time period as Ethereum. Now, of course, Ethereum's lows was earlier because Pulse Chain didn't come out to 23, but you still have a range of over a year, longer than a year realistically, where if you just DCA'd in, you would be up anywhere between 3.5x to 1.5x today. So I think that's more accurate than hypothetically catching the top or selling the top or buying the top or hypothetically buying the bottom or selling the bottom, right? Because not too many people are doing it. We're talking about DCAing a range of time where you don't need to come and drop $20,000 in one sitting, but instead you come and drop $200 a month, right? Over the course of a year, you have a nice range. So it's like everybody's all fucking boo-hooing and crying and shit because they're not rich yet. Well, we're still on course, on par for what has happened. The only real difference is that this is proverbially, hypothetically, the bottom of this layer one. So if we wanted to extrapolate this data and go look at ETH's range from when it came out and it dropped down to 15 cent and how long did it trade at the lows, this is the relative shit we're talking about. We're talking about were you buying ETH when it was trading anywhere between 15 cent and $1.50, right? Did it trade that long at that low, right? That's really the difference here. We're over here. Well, not me because I'm smart and I understand that. Hey, if you just put a little money in every now and again, if this doesn't do what literally everything else that has came before it has done, right? That would be kind of funny, right? I mean, it wouldn't be funny, but it would kind of be kind of funny. Like if this didn't do what it has always done, what everything else has always done. If this is the first one, like, hey, this time it actually is different. That would be tragic. That would suck, right? So you have, as long as we do what everything else has always done, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be more than fine. We're gonna be extremely fine. But instead, what's been propositioned to weaker minds is that hey, I'm going to go buy this token, go up, and then bring value back to post chain, right? Historically, we know that don't work, and it's funny because a lot of the people I see leading this charge, the quote unquote OGs, they know this as well as I do that that doesn't work. They've listened or proclaimed they've listened to enough of very smart people way smarter than them, to know that realistically what you're attempting to do has a very low hit rate, right? That you would just be better off, concentrating your money into the things that you like over a longer period of time. And that's how we have things like this fucking, these scams that have came and played, these sacrifices that have came and played, all these coins that they come out and shield, one, because they've lost sight of the plot, or two, they've got wrecked themselves and are looking for a quick way to make a buck, you know. But I can't feel no sympathy for the people they lead to the slaughter, because there's more than enough information. Like, we live in a time where you have all of recorded history in your pocket, probably 95% of the day, and people still refuse to want to learn anything. So how can I be mad at, the people who are taking advantage of these people? We've had a vicious bear market for 3 years. If you count the post chain sacrifice, we're coming up on almost 3.5 years since that happened, right? July of 21. So you're talking about 3.5 years. And at any point after July of 21, with very minimum time, you got a better deal than I did when I was introduced to Pulse Chain and I knew very little about crypto. I knew very little about crypto, but yet I forced myself to learn it. I forced myself to to just be aware of where we're at. And you could just come in today and get a better deal than I got with no knowledge. And it's not because you don't want to learn, it's because, most people are just lazy, man. So, there's no need to try to cry about people who put their money into the latest thing on Ethereum, right? Right? There's people who bitch and moan about folks wanting to buy Hex on Ethereum because of the gas fees, and then go and support this person who's already abandoned a project on Ethereum, and now they're locked in a forever death spiral. That shit is comical. That shit is hilarious. I seen, you know, I seen the one. I remember very vividly Westcott and them calling out this one guy on Twitter, and he called him a pea brain and pretty much said that those guys were stupid for lack of better words. And now he's on there apologizing, saying, "Yes, my reputation took a hit. Yes, it did take a hit. You stupid motherfucker." Like, even, I'm not saying that you gotta like only buy rich art stuff, but if you built your reputation, that's the thing too. A lot of people don't care about their rep anymore. I grew up. Your rep was very important. Be a man of your word. Do what you're gonna do. Do what you say you're gonna do, right? And your word is bond, right? All these phrases mean people look at you if you're of importance and they listen to what you say. So once you start doing the opposite of what you say, they can't trust you no more. So you don't even have to get online and shill other stuff. You can literally just go participate in secrecy, right? But these people, they can't help themselves. They think they're smarter than the program, and they're not. We've been proven again and again. They're not smarter than the program. It's like the people who are not, like, I have friends right now that are literally telling me that I need to get into XRP because we're early. XRP is going to do what Bitcoin did. It's going to go up to $100,000 a coin. And I just tell them, like, while that could be true, it's probably not. But this world is crazy. Anything could happen, right? But you're not early to XRP thinking that it's at $2 like people were early at Bitcoin to $2. And I was like, you do know that, right? Bitcoin $2 is way different than XRP's $2. But they think they're smarter than their program. That's why they're telling me to buy a coin that's literally right now in the top 3 market cap. And while we all know market cap is just a vanity number, the people who don't know that is the reason why it won't do what they're proclaiming it will do. They keep on saying like it's going to be used for Swift and all this other stuff, and they have no idea what Swift is. They can do a quick Google search on what Swift is and think they have enough knowledge to go talk about Swift and the complexities of it. But then people in the same face will tell you that it's too hard to buy Hex. It's too hard to buy Pulse Chain because of clicking the IP or IFPS or IPFS link. So on one hand, you have a community of people, right? And don't get me wrong, the XRP army has my respect tremendously because they've held a coin that's been under all-time highs for 7 years, and they've done way less bitching and moaning than the Hex people have for a coin that's been down for less than a year. If we're being realistic, like the price action of Hex has been bad, or not Hex, well, Hex and Pulse Chain and stuff, it's been bad for like 2 years. If we're being like totally honest, right? It went up 10,000 fucking X. What did you expect it to do? Sorry, people wanted to sell and it had to fall really fucking hard. It went up 10,000 X. Sorry, the SEC lawsuit happened. It happened to XRP. And all they've done is double down and come up with insane delusions. Like when we say Hex is a better Bitcoin, that's actually could be true, right? And it could be true just from a technical standpoint. Hasn't done it from a price. That's the other part. It has to do it from a price standpoint to be considered a better Bitcoin. Because all that fucking spaghetti code and saving the environment, that shit's cool. But give me a million X. That's that's better, right? So we can't even come over here and make it seem like like we're top dogs anymore. These people they've held the line. And speaking of which, If you bought XRP, if you DCA the XRP lows, which you had a way longer time to do than fucking Hex and Pulse Chain, you're up right now really well. And that really well is as low, excuse me, I think I seen XRP get as low as 8 cents. So you're talking about it's at $2 and let's call it 240 right now, I think is the price. So from 8 cents to 240 is what, a 30x, I think. So people are up as low. If they were DCAing, they caught the 8 cent bottom. I'm not even gonna say that's the bottom, but I seen it as low as 8 cents. Or maybe they caught it during the last bull market when it still pumped to 50, 60, I think maybe as high as 70 cents. So you're talking about a 30x to maybe a 3x. Oh, but this is over the course of 7 fucking years, y'all. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, motherfuckers are so fucking soft, and most of it is because they're just lazy. They're lazy. You should be buying these coins because 3 years ago, when Pulse came out, when the sacrifice happened, I can't find one person who said they wish they could buy more coins at a lower price. The only thing that's changed is that the prices stayed lower longer than you thought. But is that not just more of a buying opportunity? Right? I don't know, man. I don't know. To me, this is still the most obvious layup, right, in the whole entire crypto space because you had over a year to buy the lows, right? And that's nothing more than just $100 a month. But most people they refuse to get a job or they refuse to just follow the time proven method. Yes, you could have got lucky off of a meme coin, or excuse me, you could have been a grifter. You could have rugged and sacrificed or made sacrifices. You could have been a grifter. You could have been a crook. You could have been a scam artist. You could have been a fucking low life. You could have been all that, right? Or you could have just bought the lows, and either one would have made you. Well, I don't want to encourage grifting and scamming because those people are fucking the scum. But just buying the lows will yield tremendous results, unless this time it's different, right? Unless this time it never pumps and all the imaginary horribles actually come to fruition. But let's just for a game before I go because this is a quick video. Just me wanting to come and voice some of my frustrations with how sorry and pathetic the people on Twitter are. Just so many grown men crying, so many quote unquote thought leaders crying, fucking just such betas. Like we need this community needs better leaders. Actually, I don't even want this to say this community better leaders. This community need better participants because a lot of y'all are just fucking just sad and pathetic. But let's just say all the imaginary horribles that could happen, right? Just whatever the most horrible shit that could happen happens. Even with all that, FTX token is up 300%. It's actually outperforming our crypto, right? At least I saw a chart of it. I don't know how true it is. So the literal biggest Ponzi to have hit crypto in I think ever because they're about to pay out 16 billion fucking dollars. The biggest Ponzi that's ever hit crypto. That had all the things that they accused Richard Hart of doing. Scam, fraudulent, buybacks, everything, right? And the guy went to prison. A lot of the people that ran this company, right? It's a security, right? That was a security, right? Went to prison, all this stuff, and it's still people are still buying it up 300%. But yet we think that the things that we're going through are so bad that this chain and this coin is a dead chain and it'll never pump. Yeah. Y'all keep on believing these furus, these idiots if you want, because they're doing nothing but leading you to the slaughter. My advice would be go listen to Crypto Wonder, go listen to Pulse Nation, go listen to Johnny Chaos, go listen to Hexologists, go listen to the people who are not delusional in why we're going to pump. ATX, shout out ATX. Um, I think about something Wells only said one time. I was listening to his stream. This a long time ago, and he talked about he mentions Michael Burry in the movie. I can't remember if he mentioned it in the reference of the movie The Big Short, but he was definitely talking about Michael Burry. And he was talking about, if you don't know who Michael Burry is, if you're too lazy to go do like real life research, just go watch The Big Short. Right? It's a great movie. It's a very entertaining movie. I love The Big Short. All in all, even if you didn't know or want to know anything about what happened with the financial crisis of 0809, still just a great movie, right? Oh man, it's masterful performances, man. But he references that Michael Burry did that short to play out trading the housing market or the collapse of the housing market still took 3 years to come to fruition. Everybody called him an idiot. His hedge fund partners tried to, get him fired. It was a bunch of stuff that happened, but he knew he was right in his conviction. And as Johnny Chaos has said before, we're in the right place. It's just not the right time yet. Sometimes these things take time to move. It took XRP 7 years for it to move. It took the housing market 3 years from the time he went and created a market to short the housing market. It took it 3 years to play out. And in the meantime, every scandalous trick, every method, every whatever was used to stop the inevitable from happening. And I see this a lot with what we're going through right now. They have used every trick, every method, every whatever in the book to stop this chain, this crypto from pumping. But eventually, it always happens. What's supposed to happen will happen. You can only hold a river, a flowing river back with a makeshift dam for so long before there starts to be cracks and leaks in the dam, and then ultimately it gives way. Hopefully, the first crack and leak happens soon with the potential dismissal of the SEC lawsuit, and then we're right back to business, y'all. And in 4 years, the things that we're talking about today, the RH giving Maddie all in a fucking shout out. I actually met him at the Post Chain conference in Austin, and he did give me kind of weird vibes. But he's also doing something that I wouldn't do. I wouldn't put on a conference for you ungrateful bastards. What are you talking about? I wouldn't do all the organization. I wouldn't do none of that shit for y'all. Most of y'all fucking suck, you know. But who's gonna care in 4 years that he gave Maddie all in a shout out, right? We only care about it now because the price is down and people are fudding themselves out their bags, and that's fine. Once I hit stop on this and send it to my partner, I'm gonna go do it by myself. So y'all can stay with the dumb stuff, or you can get learned, you can get educated, and you can stop complaining about you can stop complaining. Just DCA in. And if you're wrong, if we're wrong and this is the one time it's different, okay, that sucks. But the chances of us being wrong and this being the one time that some shit don't do what it's supposed to do, yeah, I'm gonna have to see that in real life. I'm gonna have to see those odds. I'm not gonna fud myself out of it and then try to buy higher. I almost FOMO bought a couple weeks ago when we were pumping pretty good, and my bags were in the green. So even when we pumped and we were still way down on sacrifice price, because I did the smart thing and have DCA'd in over the last however long it's been, my bags were so much in the green, even though we were still down pretty big in this ecosystem, I couldn't even buy. I can't even buy Hex right now because my bags are so up, right? Because that's the power of DCAing. It's just that simple. So let's do a quick recap. Stop being a fucking loser. Go get a fucking job and get off the internet doing all the fucking complaining. That's all I really got for you guys. See how simple that is? It shouldn't take the people who really don't want to do this to come and tell you guys what to do. But I understand most of y'all need to be spoon fed. So here, I'll come spoon feed you. Imagine me with a fucking little spoon doing a little airplane noise. Gave you two real life examples. You can't get it? Hey man, like the title of this video say, in and out, quick 20-minute sacrifice. Keep chasing the other sacrifices. All right, y'all. But other than that, be easy, be breezy. I'm out.